Tonight on Joy News Prime, Ghana Water Company accuses National Fire Service of illegally selling water from hydrants meant for firefighting. In the latest squabble between the two over slow response to Monday's fire in the Central Business District.
The Ghana National Fire Service, and we have always cautioned them to refrain from fetching water from our hydrants and selling to members of the general public.
The Interior Ministers, meanwhile, commended fire officers from the Begro fire station seen in a viral video arriving at the scene of a fire in a taxi, insisting they were innovative.
It is clear that service officers were and took the step. But I can assure you that the
Attorney General sued over salaries for presidential spouses. Our Defense Minister confirms soldiers involved in war brutalities have been handed sanctions.
Shared by the commanding officer. The remaining soldiers who were also involved in the incident but not identified as brutalizing officers will all be transferred out of the region immediately.
We have a reaction from residents of the city. In business, Bank of Ghana opens €80 million 65-bed capacity hospital to the public, but the hospital is to be operated under a private management contract.
Having recognized that the bank lacked the expertise to effectively manage a hospital complex, the board initiated a process to partner the private sector to effectively and sustainably manage this hospital.
And a medical superintendent at the Jura Government Hospital tells ministerial committee probing recent deaths in the town during a protest how one of the deceased was shot in the back. He's also been speaking about how he was compelled to release the bodies of the deceased to a crowd that massed up at the hospital. We'll also hear from the municipal chief executive. My name is Israel Lai, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Founder for Studios at Kokomlimli here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air, and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is the home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. In what appears to be evolving into a full-blown squabble between the Ghana Water Company Limited and the Ghana National Fire Service over who is to blame for challenges in fighting Monday's fire in the Central Business District of Accra, the state utility company has accused the fire service of illegally selling water from its hydrants. The devastating fire, which blazed for 48 hours straight, ravaged shops, leaving them with no hope of recouping their losses since they had no insurance. We have details of the row between these two essential service providers shortly. But first, my colleague Manuel Coranting went back to the market on the third day after the fire and spoke to 54-year-old Salome Nyako, who operated a wholesale with her sister there before the fire. Here's his report.
Owners of the shops ravaged by the fire, sobbing, some of them looking on helplessly as their wares went up in flames.
They don't have water to quench the night. It has got out of our disease inside now. They should come and help us. We are dying. Our things are bad. It has got out of hands before they come here, because it is started from the outside before it gets inside.
54-year-old mother of 6, Salome Nyako, is one of the affected traders. She runs a shop with her sister here.
Make it Uncle says. Yes, Michelle. By money, Mrs. Stadia, by many no nay. So I say, Mr. Nakasa shop, until Mimna Michelle. There's a minute 9 a year.
She tells me they had just taken delivery of a 40-footer container worth of goods.
Beruko and ye, you say, Kumo, dead, ever now. And then if I had a good sushi, Metro Sergio, a shop on the wall, and a good sushi. Yeah, you know, my 40-footer now, but say last week in the now, no man like you, say, yeah, the goofy, the near Faka, near Trimby, I be go up the fellas or Amma.
We were taking goods off a 40-footer just about last week. The good thing is we kept the things at home before bringing them to the store. We sell shea butter soaps and perfumes, and all are bent.
As she holds back her tears, she narrates how their shop was not affected until the second day of the fire.
When we came to the store, it was locked. They looked for means to open it, but we were now on our way to the place. My sister was supposed to open up, but she had a problem with her leg. We don't come to town early. The earliest I get here is around 8 a.m. after first service.
And so I was side one qua, and in our sign, and some sort, no, you still no come more, and up to now, and that's so she.
Salome Nyaku believes more effective firefighting efforts could have helped salvage some of their goods. But the Ghana National Fire Service explains low pressure in the hydrants within the area greatly affected their efforts in fighting the fire.
Unfortunately, all the hydrants that we have in the central business district does not have the pressure required for firefighting. So we have to rely on Circle and other adjoining communities, and it's quite far from here. So that is one challenge that we are having. It's very difficult for me to talk about. You and I know that we paid 1% of our water bill goes to water company. So maybe if water company officials are here, they can answer.
Well, the Ghana Water Company Limited has been rejecting claims that low pressure in the hydrants was the reason the fire tenders had to travel long distances to refill. Engineer Emmanuel Johnson is the chief manager of the Ghana Water Company Limited in the Accra East area.
GWCL had several arrangements with the Ghana National Fire Service, and we have always cautioned them to refrain from fetching water from our hydrants and selling to members of the general public. It is a public knowledge that the fire tenders, which are supposed to be used specifically for firefighting, are being abused. We have incidences littered across the length and breadth of the country, and even the region, where officials from Ghana National Fire Service sell water to the public. And we have complained to their offices, and even some of their officials are voluntarily come to the office to volunteer information to the Ghana Water Company Limited. The Ghana Water Company Limited has discharged its duty by providing adequate hydrants in the CBD and all areas within the metropolis, ensuring that the hydrants are in good condition, readily available for use by the Ghana National Fire Service, thus fulfilling all obligations as a company. Upon similar allegations against the Ghana Water Company Limited in 2018, the GWCL requested for an audit of all the fire hydrants in the country. So together with the Ministry of Interior, we could have the 40 ones claimed by the Ghana National Fire Service repaired. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the Ghana Water Company is still waiting for that response from the Ghana National Fire Service. To conclude, Ghana Water Company Limited, ladies and gentlemen, can never be blamed in any way for the inability of the Ghana National Fire Service to fight or dose the fire on Monday, the 5th of July 2021, to the expectations of the general public. The Ghana National Fire Service should therefore adhere to their standard procedures, operating procedures. Actually, they need to check every morning the pressures, whether the hydrant is working, the pressures in the hydrants, and hand over probably to the next person who's come take over. And stop the blame game and blaming others for their shortcomings.
We've been so far unsuccessful in trying to get a comment from the Ghana National Fire Service, but Interior Minister Ambrose Derry, in another development, says firefighters in the Eastern region seen in a viral video arriving at the scene of a fire in a taxi had to do so because the fire tender had broken down. He has, however, commended the personnel for doing a good job under the circumstances. Responding to questions on the floor of Parliament, he explained the fire tender at the Begro fire station had suffered clutch failure and was undergoing maintenance.
5 hours, a distress call was received at the Begro fire station reporting an outbreak of fire at Bethlehem, a suburb of Achim-Begro, involving a single-room apartment. At 10:29 hours, a 7-member crew under the command of ADO-2 Stephen Ajay was dispatched to the fire scene in a taxi cab with registration number ER 802-20, since the station's water tender was temporarily out of commission. Mr. Speaker, the crew got to the scene at 10:33 hours and used 4 6-kilo dry chemical powder fire extinguishers and buckets of water from members in the community to douse the fire and to prevent it from further spreading to adjoining buildings. Meanwhile, the Bonsu fire station was called in as a stopgap measure, but was asked to return when the crew got to the scene and realized the fire had been brought under control by the people in the community at 10:41 hours. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that the fire service officers were really very innovative and took the step. But I can assure you that the tanker has been repaired and returned to station. Mr. Speaker, that is the answer.
The Interior Minister again has told Parliament he's unable to confirm if DSP Samuel Azugu was removed from the National Security Ministry because of the recent assault on a City FM journalist or recommendations of the Emil Short Commission's report. Responding to a question about why DSP Azugu remains in office despite the Commission's recommendation in 2019, the Minister confirmed he has since May 2021 been recalled from the National Security Ministry by the IGP. When asked for clarity on the reason for his removal, he answered, "I cannot tell."
Deputy Superintendent of Police, Mr. Samuel Kojo Azugu, has since 27 May 2021 been recalled by the Inspector General of Police, IGP, from the Ministry of National Security and duly reassigned within the Ghana Police Service. So he's no more with National Security, he's now with the Ghana Police Service. The question was that he remains at post. And my answer is that he is not at the Ministry of the but he is back with the Ghana Police Service. Period. Besides, let me emphasize that by Article 202 of the Constitution, operational matters are the remit of the IGP, not the Minister.
Staying in Parliament, Defence Minister Dominic Nitowol has confirmed the soldiers who were involved in the assault of residents of the Upper West Regional Capital have been sanctioned. Joy News regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reported Wednesday the soldiers had been handed various sanctions. The soldiers had been captured in viral videos brutalizing the residents over the loss of a mobile phone which one of the soldiers left in a tricycle. Delivering a statement on the floor of Parliament on the situation, Mr. Nitowol explained punitive measures have been taken against the soldiers, adding the victims reported losing 13 mobile phones, a tricycle and 1,460 cedis. 7 of the mobile phones have been returned to the owners, but the money hasn't been recovered.
Mr. Speaker, the team have established the following. 1. That on 30th June 2021, one of the soldiers alleged that his phone was snatched from him at about 1800 hours, that's 6 p.m., at Tindana Junction, a suburb of Wa. The soldier informed his colleague on Thursday, the 1st July 2021, at 12:30 hours, who in turn informed the duty officer on the same day. The duty officer Mr. Speaker, is reported to have permitted the troops to go to town to search for the missing phone. At about 12:45 hours, this consequently led to the brutalities in the Wa Township. So far, Mr. Speaker, in the course of the incident, 11 people suffered various degrees of injury. 4 of them were admitted at the municipal hospital. 3 were treated and discharged. The 4th person, Mr. Gafaru Mohammed, was later transferred to the Upper West Regional Hospital where he was successfully operated upon. Currently, the victim is responding to treatment. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, victims interrogated have reported the loss of 13 mobile phones, a tricycle motor, and an amount of 1,460 Ghana cedis. However, 7 mobile phones and the tricycles have since been retrieved and returned to the owners, but no money has yet been retrieved.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has commended the Defense Minister for the swift response. He hopes it sends a message to the military.
Again, Mr. Speaker, with the exception of the
He's further assured us that a lieutenant colonel will be put on trial. Some he has already come giving us what decisions have been taken. We hope that their right to a fair trial, even as men and women of the armed forces, have been respected. Mr. Speaker, it raises just one policy issue which I believe, Mr. Speaker, you can direct. In the world today, there is technology and application to trace missing phones. Ghana should take advantage of it. The Minister for Defense and Interior and the Ministry of Communication, all you need to do is to provide an opportunity for people to be able to register the phones. When you go into the back of the phone, there is a particular exclusive number. I know some phones have it. It's easier when it is iPhone, but Android does have the application where you can trace it. So the military, we insist, it is not within their rights, neither is it within their power to go a searching for a missing phone. That is wrong, and that we will not accept. But these sanctions, I believe, will allow for some order and send a signal that lawlessness will not be tolerated within the Ghana Armed Forces. So thank you for the swift response. We'll monitor the other outcome and we'll follow particular outcomes in all the investigations that are going on, including EJRA.
Chief Whip Frank Anodon says more needs to be done to improve civilian-military relations.
The cost to the incident, on the face value of it, personally, I find it quite irresponsible, because the minister has said that young military men numbering 86 have descended on an area, a suburb of Wa, on a mere reason of loss of mobile phones. Totally irresponsible. But it's commendable that the minister has taken this bold step. Investigation has been conducted. The reputation of our military is not in doubt across the frontiers of this country. And many of us have had the opportunity to travel outside this country. Anytime the Ghana Army is being referenced, it's in a solid and positive note. And that reputation cannot be limited to the outside world. We in Ghana have to also have a feel of that good and professional reputation of our army. So it's in the right direction. The action taken by the minister is commendable. I also think that we need to go further, particularly healing the seemingly damaged relationship between civilians and the military. For what has happened, the psychology.
Now, some residents in Wa have applauded the initial punitive steps to punish military officers caught on tape physically abusing civilians with the theft of a mobile phone. But others are demanding harsher punishment, including their dismissal. Joy News' Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Residents and shop owners at the Tendamba Crescent are still recovering from the July 1 Republic Day brutality suffered at the hands of 86 young soldiers. Stream of innocent persons were whipped with canes, others battered with boots, pushed to the gutter, and asked to lie supine. A dozen of them were subjected to military drills by being asked to roll on the hot asphalted road.
I was asked to go on the floor. So when I went on the floor, then there was a vertical bucket that people washed their hands. So they carried the water and poured on me and asked me to roll on the floor. So when I was doing that, one of them hit my head with their boots. And when I got up, I began to question them, and one also knocked my head, including.
What they told us was that we should all get down from our motorbikes and get a place to sit down. And shortly after that, they asked us to come and lie down. And then shortly after that, we realized that they started beating people, brutalizing anyone they see on their way.
They were not beating women. They only came into my shop, took lots of sachet water and said thank you. I was frightened to ask for the money.
Sachets. A four-member joint team was formed by the National Security, comprising 2 officers from the Military High Command and the National Investigation Bureau, NIB. They began sitting on Monday and have already met at least 16 of the victims and witnesses. The joint team, led by Colonel BZ Ayorogo, also met at least 30 of the 86 rookie soldiers and has already submitted their preliminary findings. The orderly, guard commander, and the sentry has been demoted from their ranks to lower ranks. 8 other rookie soldiers who were seen on various videos brutalizing some residents have been awarded each 30 days in detention.
This is the place where the army brutality took place in Wa. A lot of people in the Upper West region have a lot of reverence for soldiers.
The big question, however, is that can the punishment of demotion and 30-day detention suffice for the brutality they suffered? Or is the punishment less or harsh?
Actually, what I want to be given to them, like I just want them to just take them out of business, like they should just sack them so that they shouldn't be able to go into any forces again.
To me, I was even like scared that maybe I don't want them to sack them, because when they sack them, they'll go out there to be a criminals. Some are even turning to armed robbers to kill us at the same time as they did. So it's better for them to do like they should go through the punishment and they should let them remain there. To me, the punishment is cool.
They should take the said group that acted this way back to Accra or headquarters that they think they can give them discipline. The training that has been given to them has been misappropriately applied.
For some, the respect they used to have for the military has now been flamed out.
I think the respect that the people of Upper West have for the military it has gone off. At first, when you see a military man, you only look at the person and admire the person being a military man. But for what they did, when you see a military man, you see the person that fear that we used to have that for military is due before you complain as getting out of us. So we don't have any respect for them.
For most residents in the one municipality, they could not be forgiven or forgotten unless justice has taken its course. For the chain of impunity has permanently been broken for unconscionable crimes such as these. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam.
Municipal Chief Executive for Idra Sechiduma in the Shanti region, Mohammed Salisu Bamba, says 2 suspects arrested in connection with the murder of social activist Mohammed Ibrahim, also known as Kaka, are not his bodyguards, as speculated. The 2, Ibrahim Isaka and Husseini Al-Hassan, in police custody, are alleged to be the MC's bodyguards, but he is denying the claim and blames some people he describes as faceless individuals for using the death for their parochial interests. The late Kaka was killed late last month for reasons unknown, but some have attributed it to his social activism role. Giving his testimony before the 3-member committee, Mohammed Salisu said the late Kaka was a member of the MPP and had no hand in his death.
Were the 2 people that were arrested, are they your bodyguards?
Not at all.
Is there any reason why anyone would say that they are your bodyguards? Do you socialize with them a lot? Do you eat with them? Do they come to the residence? Why would anyone impute that to you?
Anyone who knows Idra very well and our environment, my house is a place that whenever any political head is coming to Idra, or any time that there is any national activity, the media who comes to Idra can attest to that fact. My house is always full with a lot of people, really a lot of people. And the 2 gentlemen are our party members, and they are our polling station executive. And as the chief executive and parliamentary candidate, definitely I will have relation with all my party people on the ground.
Okay. Just a follow-up on that. I did say 2 questions, but this is a follow-up. The Kaka, the gentleman who had been injured on the 28th, 26th, who later passed on, is he a member of your party, as far as you know?
Yeah, he's a member of the MPP.
A card-wielding member, or just one that...
I wouldn't be able to say whether he has a party card or not, but he's a strong member who also come around whenever there is anything, just like the other 2 suspects that were. In short, when he passed on the 28th, it was the party vehicle that was dispatched to Konfanochi to go and bring his body to Idra.
Well, the MC, who was out of Idra during the disturbances, said he was asked to stay away due to security concerns during the disturbances that led to 2 deaths and injuries to some 6 people. According to Mohammed Salisu, his presence would have made matters worse. Now, the committee is expected to hear from the family of the victims on Friday. But we're learning that the family is deciding to stay away. Ohiming Teria joins me with details on that. Ohiming, so we're learning that the family was supposed to appear before the committee on Friday, but they're deciding that they're not going to be part of it. Explain to us why.
Yes, Israel, just a while ago, I received a petition that the family has sent to the committee's chairman, highlighting what the family believe to be the reasons for their decision not to participate in the Commission of Inquiry's meetings in the Kumasi, the capital of Ashanti region, in a very strong worded 8-point communication that they've sent to the commission, signed by the family spokesperson, Nafi Mohammed. The family, make point of the fact that looking at events in the past few days has left them with a less setting of scope, focus and rare intent, and then even utility of the ongoing inquiry. And as such, they feel let down in their enthusiasm for what they assume to be would have provided them with a much needed opportunity for truth, soul searching, and then institutional accountability for state-sanctioned violence. And the second point talks about the fact that if you look at the committee's reference of inquiry, the terms of reference for the commission, they themselves believe that is not precise, but also very confusing. That is how they put it. And they see that in the past few days, there has been lack of precision, and this has regrettably caused the committee's work to be unfocused and digressive. In the third point, they talk about the fact that the committee continues to encroach into questions which, for their understanding, would have been an object of a separate and concurrent criminal investigation. For instance, they say they are doubtful of the prudence in the committee's decision to extend its inquiry into questions which the Ghana Police Service has publicly claimed are part of its investigation into the brutal murder of their son, Kaka. The fourth point is the fact that they are concerned with the committee receiving testimony from persons who could potentially be called in to testify in the criminal trial relating to the murder of Kaka, or in subsequent criminal trial of individuals who are criminally culpable of the shooting of the unarmed civilians, children in Idra. The fifth point is the fact that they are apprehensive of the wisdom in the committee's attempt to portray the live media coverage of the horrible events of Tuesday as somehow positive and contributive or exclusive to the criminal misconduct of members of society by security forces. So they say that they are concerned about the committee's bizarre focus on the media and its routine recourse to pejorative and prejudicial language in describing the actions of the media, including suggesting that allowing the idea to speculate that the video recordings of the shootings by journalists who have been doctored. So the family have raised concerns, serious concerns with this one. And then the sixth one talks about the fact that there has been the attempt by the committee to portray the media's highlighting of Kaka's affiliation with the Fix the Country call to action as somehow rash and misguided. And they think that this do not tally with the well-documented and easily accessibly evidence of Kaka's own self-description and then online activism that he's been found to be engaging. And then the seventh point, they also raised concerns that they are sad with the committee's, saddened by the committee's conduct that has emboldened the public lynching of their son, Idi Mohammed, and giving way to a growing attempt to hastily cast Idi as the murderer of Kaka. And then the last point that the family also raised is that, per their understanding, the scope of the committee's terms of reference, however, is nebulous and does not relate to the circumstances that led to Kaka's murder. So these are the 8-point, strong-worded 8-point communication that they have sent to the Commission of Inquiry, indicating that because of these reasons, they feel let down and they will not be participating in the activities of the committee in Kumasi.
All right, thank you very much, Ohemingtu. Meanwhile, word reaching us in the last few minutes is that the committee is asking or requesting extension of its time. The time is going to sit to deliberate over the matters that have come up. The statement is on your screens right now. Reference is being made to your office letter. It goes on. The committee was tasked to submit a detailed report with its recommendations for appropriate action within 10 days. That's by the 9th of July 2021. The committee arrived in Kumasi on Sunday, the 4th of July 2021. On Monday, the 5th of July 2021, the committee paid a courtesy call on the Drahini and its elders and later visited bereaved families and some injured persons on Monday. The committee members requested the Drahini and its elders to inform and sensitize the residents, especially about those with relevant information, to avail themselves to testify before the committee. So far, the committee goes on to list the testimonies it's received, and it's scheduled to take testimonies from the following. It's listed them as well. And then, considering the testimonies yet to be taken, the committee is requesting for an extension of the deadline to complete its work to Friday, the 16th day of July 2021, and it's signed by Marie-Louise Simmons, who's secretary to the committee. Now, 2 legal actions filed within the space of 24 hours, all seeking to overturn Parliament's approval of salaries for spouses of the President and his vice. The House in January this year approved the Emoluments Committee report recommending emoluments for the Executive, Judiciary and Legislature. That report also made provisions for the spouses of the President and Vice President, but this has so far been criticized by some legislators and the general public, with others defending same. This is also attracted legal actions, first from two NDC MPs, Roxing Nelson Dafiamekwe of South Dai and Dr. Clement Apak of Bulsa South. They are joined by Frederick Ni Kome. Together, they are seeking a total of 8 reliefs from the Supreme Court, including a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of the Constitution, spouses of the President and the Vice President are not Article 71 office holders for the purposes of receipts of wages and emoluments. Well, there's another suit, and Joseph Akable, court correspondent, joins me right now via Zoom to tell us about it. So, Joseph, we know of the previous suit. Now we know there's yet another suit, and this time it's coming from the MPP's Kwame Bafo. Tell us more about that.
I mean, popularly known as Abronya DC is what a lot of people call him, and it's very interesting. The contents are very much similar to what has been filed by Dr. Clement Apak and Roxy Nelson Dafiamekwe. It's essentially an attack on the work that was done by the Emoluments Committee that made the recommendations, and they asked for very similar reliefs. The only difference is that theirs are carefully summarized, so very few. And so they are asking for a declaration that the said approval that Parliament gave by way of the committee's reports is unconstitutional. They also asked for a declaration to the effect that the committee did not have the mandate to make any recommendations related to people who are not Article 71 office holders. And so to the extent that those declarations were made, they are asking Parliament, the Supreme Court, to come to the conclusion that it is null and void and of no effect. And so essentially they are seeking to stop the payment of the salaries that has been approved by Parliament, as we've been told and confirmed by government sources. And so two legal suits, different, but they look very similar. And earlier when we had engaged the NDC's National Youth Organizer, he had also indicated that they wanted to file similar. But when he learned that 2 of the MPs were also going to file, he had also explained that they wouldn't mind consolidating. And as we've seen in previous cases, when you have multiple cases on the same matters, very similar legal issues, the Supreme Court tends to either on their own merge those cases. We saw it in the voters register case, where another group came in raising issues about the birth certificate. The Supreme Court merged it. And so that is also something that we might see taking place, but it's still very early days.
All right, thank you very much, Joseph Akable. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. We're still ahead in the bulletin in business. Bank of Ghana opens €80 million 65-bed capacity hospital to the public, but the hospital is reoperated under a private management contract.
Recognized that the bank lacked the expertise to effectively manage a hospital complex, the board initiated a process to partner the private sector to effectively and sustainably manage this hospital.
We'll be back in a bit.
You're welcome to business. The Bank of Ghana has finally opened its state-of-the-art hospital to the public. The 65-bed facility was constructed at the cost of €80 million and will be managed by a private entity. George Rafi has more.
The International Hospital Management Group of South Africa, HALCOM, will be managing the facility. It's being done under a strict private management contract that is expected to last for about 3 to 5 years. The hospital is being run as a business model that would help provide world-class outpatient department, diagnostic services, and medical urology. Speaking at the commission of the facility, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, noted that they are doing this to ensure the facility is financially sustainable going forward.
Having recognized that the bank lacked the expertise to effectively manage a hospital complex, the board initiated a process to partner the private sector to effectively and sustainably manage this hospital. On the business model guiding the operations of the bank, the implementation committee recommended that the hospital should be set up as a commercial entity, operating as a general hospital to provide world-class OPD services, diagnostic services, and medical urology. The committee recommended that the hospital needed to be operated via a multidisciplinary teamwork approach, with the clinical business units at the OPD being allowed to generate their own income to meet some of their operational costs. Based on these considerations, the Bank of Ghana board opted for the management model for a period of 5 years.
Health Minister Kweku Agyeman noted that government is actively looking forward to the private sector in improving health care in the country.
When I joined the ministry, I tried to bring providers, and of course I've forgotten the private sector providers, like Yahoo and Leicester and Clarion. These are private sector entities that have invested into health to provide healthcare services. When I joined the ministry, there wasn't serious connection, but I've managed to get all these type of providers into what we call health sector working group committees or meetings. So now we engage with the quasi institutions. They have a president that represents hospitals like the Port Hospital, Maritime Hospital, now the Bank of Ghana Hospital, and whatever, Cocoa Board and things like that. So they come and we share ideas. We collect data from them. They advise us. And they also look at us and look at where we are getting it so wrong and criticize, and we get on.
Speaking later in an interview with Joy Business, Managing Director of the hospital, James Van Hurt, noted that services are being priced in a way to ensure that no one is left out in getting access to quality healthcare in the country.
You can come in via our OPD, which is our outpatient department, or if you have an emergency, which runs 24/7, you can come via the emergency department. And it's entirely open. No matter who you are, you can come through and see, and we can then obviously arrange for you to see a specialist or whichever doctor you need to see outside of the normal ED or the OPD doctors. And
let's not being specific pricing, but let's look at pricing and how you're going to deal with that as a service or a facility that is open to the public.
Yeah, so again, from a pricing perspective, we've obviously looked at the pricing in the market and seen what the market charges. We don't believe our pricing is out of line with what the market charges for private healthcare in Ghana. So from an affordability perspective, there shouldn't be an issue at all.
Well, Ghana's biggest and fastest growing jackpot mobile lottery, that's 787 NLA, has rewarded a toll collector from Awaso in the Western North region 20,000 cedis in the just ended draw, the 98 held on Saturday. We have more in this report.
The winner from Awaso Western North region, upon receiving the 20,000 cedis prize, shared the prize will be of greater good in establishing a business. Excited Kofi expressed gratitude to the 787 lottery and urged all to partake in this week's Super 433,000 cedis promising jackpot.
I'm excited. That's all. I got the prompt on my phone and I followed the procedure and that's it. Actually, they called me. They didn't text me. They called me and I thought it was a prank call, but later on I got to know that it was true. I'll use it to start a small business. I'll tell them to continue participating and it's real.
The head of customer experience, Richard Akotobanfo, at the event announced Star 787 hash guarantees an extra 1,000 cedis win for 5 lucky players at a purchase of tickets before 12 midnight every Friday.
That's a promising jackpot worth 433,000 Ghana cedis. My very good friend, this is your moment to shine. This is the break point for you. You can list your budget and realize that you can have enough balance to even sort yourself and your family out. Pick the chance now. Load your mobile wallet and then dial star 787 hash. Play with only 5 Ghana cedis or increase your chance by playing more to win 433,000 Ghana cedis or even the unique prize 20,000 Ghana cedis. This Friday, you equally stand a chance to win 1,000 Ghana cedis. And this is the opportunity for you to change your life. So play now.
And that'll be it for business. I'm Charles Aite. Sports is up next. To stay.
Many thanks for staying with us. Time for sports. My name is Hans Mensah Andona. Rahima, who is the older brother of Black Stars skipper Andre Didier, believes the former Swansea City playmaker has the leadership qualities to guide the Black Stars to win a first AFCON title in 39 years. The Black Stars have failed to win a continental silverware since 1982, despite reaching 3 finals in 1992, 2010 and 2015. Rahima, you believes who last played for FC Europa in Gibraltar, has extolled the leadership qualities of his younger brother ahead of next year's AFCON.
Andre has always been a leader, you know, wherever he has been. So I wouldn't say much. So he has the quality. I mean, I always say he was born for it. So hopefully, I mean, he's doing great things now. So I just hope for the best. And I always pray that, you know, he do great things for the national team, which he did with the under-20, you know, which has never been done before. So I just hope when things get well or things continue as I mean, it's going.
So what makes Andre different from previous captains of the Black Stars?
I mean, not much. Not much, but those who were there before him, they did what they can, you know. They did what they could. He has come, he's doing what, you know, being a leader does not mean that they just take the banner and give it to you. You have to have certain qualities. Not anyone can be a leader. So.
Now, Paris Saint-Germain have signed Sergio Ramos on a 2-year deal following the defender's departure from Real Madrid. Ramos left Madrid after 16 years when his contract expired at the end of June. There is more in the following report.
The 34-year-old left Real Madrid when his contract expired on June 30 after failing to agree on extension, bringing an end to 16 years at the club. Ramos had wanted a 2-year deal. His wages at PSG are set to be lower than what he was earning in Spain and what he would have earned had he stayed at the Bernabeu. Ramos began his career at Sevilla and signed for Real Madrid in 2005 at the age of 19, going on to become one of the most important players in the club's history. The centre-back made 671 appearances for Madrid, scored 101 goals and became club captain in 2015 after the departure of Iker Casillas. He won 22 trophies with Madrid, including 4 Champions League titles, 5 La Liga titles, and 2 Copa del Rey titles. Ramos will look to regain his best form in 2021-2022 after his contribution in 2020-21 was limited by a series of injuries. He made 15 La Liga appearances last season, by far his lowest tally as a Real Madrid player, with just 2 of them coming in 2021, and as a result was left out of Spain's Euro 2020 squad by coach Luis Enrique.
A world #1 Ashley Barty will play Czech 8 seed Karolina Pliskova in Saturday's Wimbledon final. Australian Barty beat former champion Angelique Kerber 6-3, 7-6, 7-3 before Pliskova came from a set down to beat Arina Sabalenka 5-7, 6-4, 6-4. That's it for this installment. There is more sports later in the bulletin.
All right, in showbiz, we have a new play coming up. Becky Bex is here to tell us all about it. Something Must Kill a Man.
Something Must Kill a Man. What will kill a man? I'm not a man, so I can't say anything about it. But it's something new coming from Latif Abubakar. Yeah. And he tells us, you know, what actually will kill a man.
We wrote this play before the COVID. And the COVID came up, and then we couldn't stage it. So we had to rewrite the play again. Because, of course, the COVID brought up a lot of issues. You understand that after reflection, we thought that this play needs to be written again. So we have a new play, which was written within the COVID era, to entertain and educate Ghanaians on especially team building. More importantly, that's what we're focused on team loyalty and then on team commitment.
What is so about team building and team commitment that you have to inculcate it in a playwright?
Okay, so I think that without team building, no organization works. Team building is so important to organization, that's the success of every organization. And then if you look at research done by Forbes, if you read through a lot of the research, they tell you that the best kind of team building essentially is to bring the team together to work as a common entity. So if you look at the research done across the globe, you realize that they tell you that the best kind of team building is actually the kind of team building that is done outside the office. And that is fan-based. It bonds the team better.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to this. And this particular play will be staged at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Imagine where it will be staged. Right. So we spoke to the general manager, Rene, and he's been telling us why they decided to partner with Latif Abubakar.
this is interactive theatre, something new again, something that's not seen very often. Not only is it about time we get out from our couches again and we get up and into the beach gardens, which we talked about before. It's outside, it's safe, it's a good environment to be in. But the fact and the real beauty of this is that this is interactive stuff. And that is so exciting. And being a comedy at the same time, who does not want to be part of that? And with Latif Abubakar, you know you're in for a treat. So it took me very little time to say yes to this.
All right, so I'll take you to watch that particular play. It's in August, so when the time is approaching, I'll let you know. Sure. Let's talk about Sarkodie. So Sarkodie happens to be the creative director today, or he was named the creative director for Ghana Party in the Park UK. So they had a launch and they officially announced to the public that he is now. So it's a new job that he's taking on, and he's been explaining to us what his role as a creative director on that particular show is.
It's the first time. I think I've been doing music for a while, and at this point, my high is not necessarily always performing or releasing music. I need to give back to what made me Sarkodie, and that's the industry. And I care about how artists are treated. I've been an artist for Lord knows. So I know what I need as an artist that preps me for a performance. So when I had a conversation with Dennis, I told him, this is all I would like to do. This is what I would like to do to support. And he knows how passionate I am with how artists are treated. And you know, sometimes with organizations, it tends to be overwhelming for promoters. So sometimes they need to let the weight off them. And I'm ready to hold that, especially if I'm doing that for Ghanaian artists. So yeah.
Big dreams, so many plans that Sarkodie has for the Ghanaian music industry. He will be releasing his album this Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday.
It's happening at Kumasi. He didn't invite me. I don't know why, Sarkodie. But, you know, Kiddy has been reacting to the table that has, I mean, I'm interested in the wristband.
Why?
Because apparently the wristband, when it's doomed, so it will show us.
It will give you enough light.
It will reflect, at least you see my wrist in times of doom. So he's saying that he is not holding a gun to anybody's head
to come by.
He spoke on Daybreak this morning.
It's not like I'm forcing people to get 15K. And 15K, you know, and this I don't know if you're not 12, now you can do more than this, as I say. So it's not like I'm charging the way people are projecting it, like Kiddy is charging 15,000 for ticket price. I'm not charging 15,000, and even the table pricing and free Kiddy and free link. So we are partnering with a venue. So the venue is also selling their own tables for this and that and that. Into who are open, it's a choice. So there's no gun to anybody's head to buy a table.
So when they gave you the price list, be very honest with me. How did you feel?
When I saw it, because I saw it earlier with Mr. Drew did the first live with Mr. Drew, and I saw that price, shame. But later, you know, it's about reading. Me reading, and I'm trying to say, oh, so this is what it means. A lot of people are not reading what is beneath the prices. They just see 15K and say, hey, 15K. And then, who do you think you are to charge 15K? But I'm not charging you 15K. 15K, if you read under it, you see that a package of this and that. What do you mean now, Bomoa? It's even more than the 15K. That's why it's a deal to give you 15K for 12 people. Because they are doing a thing package so that you come in groups. Call your friends. Let's go to live with Kiddy at Coco Vanilla 29 July. Let's go and chill. That's what I say. But if you don't want to do that, you are working alone or with somebody. Like I said, there is an option for a regular ticket for 100 cedis. And also a whole and but people are focusing on the 15K. But if you read beneath it, you see that it actually makes so much sense.
Okay, so this 100K, 100 cedis, what does it come with?
No, and they are just ticket too.
So if I buy the ticket, what I'll come and stand and watch you?
No, but there are tables. People will sit down as well. You people will sit down. There are places for the standard people. Once Oko Stadium, your place for standard, your place of VIP. Just that the 100 cedis, nobody is giving you. You buy your own alcohol. Nobody is giving you alcohol or anything.
Not even water.
Oh, there every day. We're not there.
This qualifies you for the popular stand.
Table.
Popular stand.
It's still a table.
Have you been to the stadium before?
Yeah, but I mean, but we don't have tables at the stadium.
It's called popular stand.
Oh wow, I'll be there. The 100 cedis. I mean, we can figure out that one, right?
Okay.
We'll take our water and our drink.
All right. Thank you very much, Becky Beck, for bringing us Showbiz. Up next, we have more stories. Please stay tuned in. Now, Ghana's COVID-19 cases are rising steadily, with the daily case count trending upwards from 80 to 138 in just a week. Now, on the dashboard, the very latest 138 new cases. Active cases have gone up to 1,849, bringing it to a total confirmed cases of 96,846. 797 people have died from COVID-related deaths, and 94,200 have recovered or been discharged. The Ghana Health Service is asking Ghanaians to be on high alert as it works to contain the deadly Delta strain of the virus detected in students and teachers at the Achimota School. As many as 163 persons were found to be positive after testing was done on 1,118 samples. Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Sedubekwe, says they are restricting movement to and from the school as they work to prevent a spread to the community. Dr. Franklin Sedubekwe joins me on Zoom for a conversation. Thank you very much, Dr. Sedubekwe. Now, what would you say is accounting for the uptick in COVID-19 cases in recent days?
Yes, thank you very much. So, if you look at the data, we are getting cases from 3 main regions. So, Ashanti, Greater Accra, and Ahafo region. And for Ahafo region, is in a district, City Field North, whereby they have an outbreak in the workplace. So, for Ashanti, you have cases in Amansia Central, Amansia South, and Secretariat South. So these are also kind of workplace outbreaks going on. And then we have Greater Accra that is from the Achimota School. So these are kind of localized outbreaks occurring in these 3 districts. So in the remaining 13 regions, you don't seem to have cases. So these are actually the main reasons why we have the surge in cases.
Now, you say that we don't have cases in the remaining regions, but is it a case that we're not testing, and that's why we don't have those cases?
No, we are testing. If you look at our update, you can see that there has been a gradual increase in the number of tests being done. So, clearly, if you look at our protocol or our guideline, we test based on clinical suspicion. And then that one will generate contacts, and that one will be the basis for further testing. So basically, that's what we are doing. So I think the other regions are not getting the cases. The others that have cases, they are doing contact tracing, and we are generating more cases. So clearly, we are testing, and then the cases are not in those other regions.
All right. Now, does the health service have a grasp of the situation at Achimota School, which you mentioned, and what is the plan to contain the situation?
Yes, so clearly, let me tell you that Achimota situation is really stable. You have a situation whereby you have 2 streams of students. So you have day students and you have boarders. And then you have an initial report of 3 students. Immediately, the health system is alerted, and then they isolate them and test them. And then they do contact tracing, so they further identify more contacts, and then they put them under isolation. The other issue is that you have a situation where you have day students. So the idea is that what do you do to these day students? So we try to test all the day students. We've actually done the testing of the day students. We've gone ahead to do testing of the teachers and non-teaching staff. We've even given vaccinations from the teachers. So clearly, the Achimota situation is contained. This is an outbreak in a confined environment. What is good for us is that we're able to ascertain that we have a Delta variant in the country, in the community. So I think that the health system is in charge of the situation. And let me also state that we have actually done over 1,100 test. And the results is that we have about 183 positive cases, but about 4/5 of them have been discharged. Currently, as I speak, we have just 46 cases being active. So it's a situation which is under control.
Right. Now, are you able to say if any deaths have been recorded yet of people who have been found to have been infected with the Delta strain of COVID-19?
You see, the Delta strain, it's early days yet in the country. If you look at our genomic surveillance over the period, it started more than a year ago, but it is not like case-based. So normally you do a kind of a batch testing to ascertain whether you have the variant. So as we have actually shared across, the most dominant strain in the country has been the Alpha variant. For now, we don't have the data to link deaths to Delta strain. Let me also state that it's only very early that we've actually been able to isolate the Delta. So we are still watching, and we are actually ramping up our genomic sequencing. Now, as I speak, we have about 4 institutions that are doing their genomic sequencing in Ghana. We have Noguchi, we have UHAS, and then you have WACPIC. So they are all doing the testing. So it's getting bigger and bigger, and hopefully we'll get a full grasp of the situation of Delta in the country.
But looking at the death rate, would you say we've seen a significant increase in recent days?
You see, if you look at the data going around globally, the Delta strain is more efficient in terms of transmission. It doesn't really do a lot of mortality. So for now, Ghana, you can see that we have a gradual increase in cases, but we don't have a corresponding increase in number of deaths. We are seeing a little rise in severe cases, but it's not as profuse as we used to have in the early part of the year.
Right. Now that I have you on, I know that the 138 new cases that we reported is a while back. What's the very latest that you have on the dashboard?
I think dashboard one.
No, I think the national COVID dashboard.
Okay. So I think I went off. Let me see whether I have it.
All right. Now, whilst you look at it, then the final question I'll be asking you is the Ghana Health Service has been concerned about the lack of adherence to the preventive protocols in recent weeks. And what is the plan to improve adherence? But for now, if you have the latest COVID stats from the dashboard, you may want to share that with us, and then we can...
So for the active cases is 1,893.
Right. It's gone up again.
Yes. So, and then the cumulative is 96,971.
And the new cases, how about the new cases?
Pardon?
How about the new cases you have?
The new cases...
because we had 138 at the last count on the dashboard.
These are 125.
125, so it's been a marginal drop.
Yeah, so I think now we have somehow entered the hundreds. So you can see that we have actually been increasing gradually over the past 3 weeks. In terms of trying to get Ghanaians to appreciate the
protocols,
I think you were crowned an ambassador a few weeks ago, and we would like to rely on influencers like you to actually send a message across. What is happening now is like what was happening in November and December and in October. When the cases are not so profuse and people are not seeing deaths, they say that the disease is gone. It's very challenging to convince people that the disease is gone. So somehow the detection of Delta was supposed to send some fear in the system. It's not so much agitating the Ghanaian. But we hope that Ghanaian will appreciate the fact that COVID-19 is not gone yet.
Yeah.
And I think that even though we are getting vaccinations, we don't have the right numbers to be able to let us lose our guard. So please, let's wear our mask. at all times.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Franklin Isieduwekwe, who's the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service. You're also watching Joy News Prime. And Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has moved a motion on the floor of Parliament demanding a parliamentary probe into the purchase of Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccines from Russia. The minority wants a 7 or 9 member committee set up to probe contracts the government signed with Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum and one other supplier for the procurement of COVID-19 vaccine. Haruna Idrisu says the planned purchase of vaccines for $19 and more instead of the proposed $10.50 is not in the interest of the country.
That this Honorable House constitutes a bipartisan committee to investigate the procurement contracts between the government of the Republic of Ghana and Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum and one other for the supply of Sputnik V COVID vaccines and submit a report for the consideration of this House. Mr. Speaker, I do so invoking our implied and express powers as Parliament, the power of inquiry and the power of investigation. And Mr. Speaker, may I with respect refer you to Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution, which provides Parliament shall appoint standing committees and other committees as may be necessary for the effective discharge of its functions. And Mr. Speaker, committees of Parliament shall be charged with such functions, including the investigation and inquiry into the activities and administration of ministries, departments. Mr. Speaker, in this particular matter, I'm asking that Parliament investigates an agreement that has been signed. I have a copy of it. Mr. Speaker, I'll share 2 of it. Vaccine supply agreement between private office of Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum and the Ministry of Health, representing the government of the Republic of Ghana. And Mr. Speaker, Sputnik vaccines, 3.4 million at $19 US, excluding any duties and taxes. Total price will be 64 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we will need a 7 or 9 member parliamentary committee to go into this matter. And Mr. Speaker, we on the minority side believe that despite the explanations given by the government on the failure and delay in procuring COVID-19 vaccines for the country, there must be a thorough investigation into this matter. The outcome of the probe will reveal whether the proper procurement processes were adhered to, and in particular, whether we are not in breach of the Constitution, particularly in Article 1815 of the 1992 Constitution.
Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak says the Health Minister Kwekwa Jumamemu lied to Parliament on the cost of vaccines and must be probed, but the minister rejected the claim.
The Minister for Health had not been sincere to the Committee of Parliament, because, Mr. Speaker, I held in my hand the vote and proceedings of Wednesday, 24th of March 2021. 2021, yes. During budget hearing at the committee, precisely on 22nd of March, the meeting was held around 11 a.m. That was Monday, 22nd. When the minister was telling the committee of this house that, we should help approve the allocation for vaccines because no vaccine will be procured for more than $10. This was on 22nd March. The minister knew very well that by that 22nd March, on the 9th of March, he had gone to sign a contract for $19. Yet, he had the courage to come to the Committee of Parliament on 22nd to virtually lie to the committee that this vaccine will not be procured for more than $10 US. Mr. Speaker, this is the reason, one of the reasons why this must be probed. Because if a member of Parliament and a minister of this House, a minister of Parliament, a minister of Health,
Well, Majority Leader Sergio Mensah is backing the motion. He actually backed the motion. He says it shows Parliament as an institution is growing in its oversight responsibility. 3 suspects have been remanded into police custody by the Kuntanase Magistrate Court over the murder of driver and head teacher Israel Ejay Menu at Fiase in the Ashanti region. The police arrested 2 more suspects named by the prime suspect Rashid Ibrahim to assist in investigations. Richard Adai and Anthony Sekum work at the Black Akasa Shrine as fetish priest assistants and laborer. Before we get to that story, earlier the prime suspect has been giving a detailed account of how he carried out the act. He hired the services of his victim at Kumasi High School Junction, which led him to a spot in the Atonso area, which is under development, before slashing him several times with a machete. Oyemi Terry of your security desk, who monitored events, has more in the following report.
The decapitated body of the deceased, Israel Ejay Menu, head teacher of Rogel Montessori School at Atonso, was discovered on Sunday, July 4, 2021 by some residents. It took a search party of the police and residents to locate the head in nearby bushes. According to police, the suspect, upon arrest on Sunday, confessed to the crime. He claimed someone assured him of money rituals to make him rich overnight if he presented a human head. Though Rashid was expected to make his first court appearance at the Kuntanase District Court on Wednesday, there was no show. But whilst in handcuffs, Rashid demonstrated to police how he walked down his victim to the bush to pick some speakers. He told police officers he slashed the deceased multiple times from behind with a machete until he fell on the ground. It was after the deceased fell on the ground that he cut off his head.
This is the spot where the prime suspect, Rashid Ibrahim, claims that after he has used machete to murder the late Israel Ejay Menu in the bushes here, and blood has splashed into his shirt, he came down here to wash himself here. Behind me is the spot where he claims the driver parked the vehicle after he has picked him from High School Junction, a popular spot at Atonso.
Rashid said he then left the body to wash himself of blood stains from a construction tank nearby. But upon sensing some people were approaching the scene, he threw away the decapitated head into the bush and fled the scene. He was later arrested after a resident who saw him in the vicinity reported him to police. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Oyemi Terry reporting.
Well, Love FM's reporter Nanel Jima sat through court proceedings in Kuntanase and reports that aside from the remand of the 3 suspects into police custody, the police have also mounted a search for 2 more suspects. Now, still on the Fiase murder, managers of Power Health Products Limited say they aided the arrest of their factory hand suspected to have murdered a head teacher who doubles as a boat driver at Fiase in the Ashanti region. Managing Director Kumia Sechi aided the police to apprehend Rashid Ibrahim to assist with police investigations after a resident claimed to have seen him with the deceased a few minutes before his murder. He tells Ohim Interior his action was born out of patriotism and safety for the entire working staff.
32-year-old Rashid has been working at the Power Health Products Limited as a factory hand since 2018. Managers say the jovial but free-looking man has been kept at the company on compassionate grounds because of ill health. He reported to work on Saturday and returned to the vicinity the following day to allegedly carry out his plans about 150 meters from the office. His colleagues are shocked at his action because he is calm and unassuming. Akumia Sechi is managing director of the company.
He was employed there in 2018. And I would say that he's a cool guy, very jovial, and he moves with everybody, and we didn't have any reason to suspect he could do this. Everybody received this news with shock. Indeed, we couldn't really believe it. Sunday afternoon, around 2 o'clock, my security man here at the factory called me to say that somebody had been beheaded somewhere close to our factory. So I decided to come here instead of going to the funeral to see things for myself. I was here with everybody. We are all wondering who may have done this.
Rashid led police to the crime scene to reenact how he allegedly murdered the driver. It has emerged his employers aided his arrest after a resident linked him to the alleged murder. The employers led police to the residence of Rashid Ibrahim to effect his arrest. Mr. Akomia has been explaining to Joy News how he aided the arrest and why he did that.
We were trying to assist the police as much as we could. My security man told me, a neighbor of ours says he saw two people leaving the car and passing close to the factory, and then they went into the bush. So he suspects that they may be responsible for the death of the person. But he knows one of them. He doesn't know the other. And then he mentioned Rashid. I said, what? Rashid? I said, yes. I said, well, the police don't conjure magic in finding culprits. They depend on information. So if you have this information, you have to give it to them. Despite the fact that he's my employee. If he could do this to somebody, he could do it to any other person. So he agreed, and I looked for the district commander, and he told them. Then they decided to pick Rashid up. They didn't know where to find him. So I said, oh, I know where he lives. He's my employee. So I helped them to locate his place. And the next thing I heard, he had been arrested, and eventually he confessed to the crime. We all presume he is guilty since he has confessed. But if he is guilty and if he was able to do this to anybody, we are even thankful it didn't happen to our staff, because he's here with them and he needed a head. There are so many heads here. So he could have taken any head from this place.
Meanwhile, Rashid is expected to make his first court appearance at the Kontinasi District Court on Wednesday. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohemi Tiria reporting.
Up next, we bring you more business. Stay tuned in.
In business, EcoBank Ghana and Enterprise trustees have today signed a partnership agreement to make a meaningful contribution towards helping Ghana to reduce the ever-growing housing deficit. According to the Managing Director of EcoBank Ghana, Dan Saki, the partnership seeks to offer customers of both institutions a whole new experience with unending benefits. We have more in this report.
Speaking at the signing ceremony, Managing Director of EcoBank Ghana, Dan Saki, said the partnership will enable Enterprise trustees make available to all workers whose pension funds reside at Enterprise a package that enables them to attract mortgage from EcoBank with zero down payments.
What we are trying to do is that we, together with Enterprise, will make sure that we'll make available to workers whose pension funds reside at Enterprise a package that enables them to attract mortgage from EcoBank. with zero down payment, as he said earlier on. What is key is a zero down payment prior to attracting the mortgage, because one of the key roadblocks for access has been the ability to raise the 20%. So if you are looking at a house which is worth, let's say, even $100,000, it means that you need to raise $20,000 to be able to unlock the rest. So today's ceremony opens the door to allow our clients, to allow anybody who has his pension residing with enterprise trustees to then confirm to us that that person has enough to cover at least 20% of whatever mortgage that you want to access.
On his part, Managing Director of Enterprise Trustees, Joseph Ampofu, indicated that this new partnership will help workers build an enviable fund towards their retirement.
It's been 10 years running of schemes, enabling contributors to build up funds towards their future retirement. Per sections 103 and 114 of the National Pensions Act 2008, Act 766, assignments are possible under Tier 2 and Tier 3 benefits. This clearly unlocks home ownership through mortgages in the lifetime of a contributor. This was not possible under PNDC Law 247, the old pensions regime, where one had to wait until receiving lump sum benefits in retirement to start building their homes. So this is a collaboration between two industry giants, EcoBank, Ghana, and Enterprise Trustees. We are optimistic that our shared value of excellence will be our guiding principle as we work together to the betterment of Ghanaian workers to own homes through a unique mortgage solution.
The partnership between EcoBank and Enterprise Trustees is set to offer a product that requires the borrower to make no deposit whatsoever when going for a mortgage.
Now, government has established an aircraft accident prevention bureau to ensure the safety of the airport, especially as international flights resume amid COVID vaccinations. The commissioner of the bureau, Akwesi Ajabi Prempe, tells Joy Business, though some threats to aviation security exist, aggressive reforms are underway to ensure Ghana's safe aviation space as a regional hub. Here is more. Call it a potential threat to air safety at the Kotoka International Airport. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau says traveler birds are now competing with aircraft at the airbase. These birds settled along the runway as flights got grounded to the COVID-19 restrictions. Speaking to Joy Business, the newly appointed commissioner of AIB Ghana, Akwesi Ajabi Prempe, revealed that some aggressive measures are underway to clear these traveler birds.
Because the airline was not in operation for a while because of the COVID situation, the grass along the airport, these birds comes in, feed on it, because there is no operations. So now that there is operation, meaning these birds have to travel somewhere else. So it's like they are competing with the aircraft. So that is the incident that we are having. But the other incidents, which maybe we have to look at it as a team.
With the establishment of the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, questions are rife over the investigation regime of Ghana for aircraft accidents across the world. Speaking to matters regarding the procurement and investigation of black boxes should there be cases of accidents in Ghana, the commissioner explained that the independence of the bureau permits Ghana to embark on such investigations per ICAO's conventions.
If it happens in the territory of Ghana, we own the black box. The black box records the communication, everything. So, but we don't have the gadget to analyze the black box. So meaning we have to transport the black box. The recent one is the Starbull one, when it involved in an accident. The investigators there got the black box because we are mandated to have custody.
Its functions, among others, is to determine the causes of and contributing factors to aircraft accidents and incidents, also prepare and submit reports to the appropriate authority to enhance the progress of investigations into aircraft accidents or incidents. The prospects of aviation safety remains bright, especially when the establishment of this Aircraft Aviation Accident Investigation Bureau has been set off with the Commissioner so much confident of intensified investigation to prevent any occurrence of aviation accidents in the future. I'm Charles Aite reporting for Joy Business. Now, the Ada East District Assembly has embarked on an investment drive in a bid to woo more investors to the area. The area, noted for its unique location in the Greater Accra region, has potentials in ecotourism, agriculture, wind energy, hospitality, marine services, among others. The District Chief Executive, Sarah Pobi, speaking at an investment forum at the Big Ada, said the private sector is crucial in the development agenda. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
According to District Chief Executive Sarah Pobi, government's One District, One Factory policy is the main goal behind the drive. The district has also engaged Ghana Tourism Authority to train their youth in hospitality industry. An investor, OSA Group, is to invest 60 million euros into piggery, help 400 outgrower farmers, and employ close to 2,000 residents aside training people in piggery.
We have engaged the GTA to train our youth in the hospitality industry. With the boats, we have this technical institution, we have welders who will be going on job training with these Egyptians to train them how to build the boats. And with the OSA food, we have a lot of farmers who are into piggery. The feeds that they use to feed the pigs are too expensive, and they are not getting a subsidized rate on that. So we thought it wise to contact this Danish company to also help us do the piggery and do the feeds for our people.
Salt mining company Electrochem Ghana Limited will provide jobs for about 6,000 residents in the Ada enclave. Consultant to the company, Jigbodi Dosu, tells Joy Business Electrochem will mine over 1 million tons of salt next year.
The total production in Ghana that is feeding is about 215,000. So we are looking to ensure that both local and export markets are fed. That is why I said we are going 1 million, 2 million, 3 million as we go along. Then we meet the needs of both local and other markets. So it's not just petrochemical, pharmaceutical industries, soap making. So many areas actually use salt derivatives, and I believe our production manager talked about sodium hypochlorite and other chemicals that they benefit from. So we want to ensure that this impact it's not just here in the Ada state, but it will go from the Ada state as natural resource for the people to the world.
Meanwhile, EPSIP Ghana Marine Unit, which specializes in floats, is hoping to strike a deal with government to use Volta River to transport cargo. Abdelrahman Mohammed Ali Abulela is the project engineer for the company.
We can use the Volta River for shipment and transportation, the cargo, about the containers, also the people. We can serve also ECOWAS countries. We can adapt to be a center of transportation of the containers. We have now a yard. We have a sector of maintenance and have a sector of building. We can adapt to be a center of maintenance, all the steel fish, all the fishing vessels, all the tankers. We can also deal with the oil and gas.
Representatives from security, assembly members, traditional authority, diaspora, among other stakeholders, were present at the forum. Kwame Yanke's reports for Joy Business.
And of course, that's how we end this edition of Business, but we shall leave you with a summary of international business news. Do stay, after which sports comes up next.
time to bring you the second installment of sports. I am Hans Mensah, and now the country's rugby football union team, the Eagles, are fine-tuning preparations in Kampala ahead of their Rugby Africa Cup opener against host Uganda on the 10th of July. The Eagles are confident they will impress, but their pre-tournament preparation was hampered by off-field issues and the deadly COVID-19. There is more in the following report.
Ghana's dream of impressing at this year's Rugby Africa Cup might hit a snag due to acts of some board members of the local governing body and COVID-19. In the last 6 years, the National Rugby Football Union team, the Eagles, had adequate preparations for major tournaments. It is not surprising Ghana has won 4 continental titles so far. The national rugby team spends at least 6 months getting ready for continental competitions, mainly because rugby is a physically demanding sport and Ghana, ranked 87th in the world, is not a recognized rugby playing nation. Preparations for this year's Rugby Africa Cup began in October last year, but acts of some board members of Ghana Rugby put the team's preparation in jeopardy. In April this year, they convened a board meeting to remove Herbert Mensah as president of Ghana Rugby, prevented players from the Western and Central regions from joining the national team, resulting in squad depletion and freezing the accounts of the union. Key member of the Eagles, Yaya Lukman, reviews the off-the-field issues got into the mind of his teammates.
For some times we were, because we didn't know if we can make it there because of things that are going on and those things. But right now, we are fully prepared.
Head coach of the National Rugby Football team, Lavmo Kuzorera, does not expect the team to live up to expectations given their inadequate preparations.
The expectations are not very high. We are the underdogs in this tournament. There's a lot of things happening at the top, and so because of there's a lot of disturbance that has happened, so the expectations are not very high. According to Lavmo Kuzorera, COVID-19 also had negative impact on the team's preparation for the Rugby Africa Cup. You can't go into a tournament without playing matches, but COVID has played a huge part, as you can see. Normally we would play, we've actually said that we would play Ivory Coast, we would have played Nigeria, but then Nigeria also got banned, in Africa Rugby. But we were said to play Ivory Coast, but due to the borders being closed, we can't play friendlies with other nations, so we just have to go like that. The Eagles begin their Rugby Africa Cup campaign with a game against Uganda on July 10 in Kampala and Algeria 4 days later.
Exactly what happened. No, take him on. Stop him from passing.
And we wish Ghana's Rugby Football Union national team all the best in Kampala. Now, Diego Simeone has also extended his deal as head coach of Atletico Madrid. He remains in charge until June 2024. Israel continues with the news.
All right, thank you very much, Hans. Apparently, or it's actually the end of the news. My name is Israel. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night. We have PM Express Business Edition coming up with George Rafi. Do stay tuned in.